Here's my chat with Vincent Ravaut of Domaine Gaston et Pierre Ravaut in Ladois. They make Ladois, Alos and Coton. There's a new wine this year, the Aligoté. His whites are all excellent in 2020, and we've bought his Aligoté for the first time, bottled last summer straight from stainless steel. Other things that are slightly different. The Coton is a blend this year of Bressande and Haute Murotte due to small quantities. And as a delicious introduction, nothing's cheap in Burgundy, but Les Damuguettes, his Haute Côte de Nuit red, is really delicious for early drinking. Vincent Ravaut from Domaine Gaston et Pierre Ravaut. Tell us about 2020, Vincent.
Yes, so hello everybody. 2020 was hot, I would say a hot vintage, because we started the harvesting in August, the 20th of August. So it was really soon and really hot. So we decided to pick up the grapes very early, especially for the white, because of the acidity is going down. And the maturity of the grapes were okay, so I decided to pick up the grapes at this time.
It's a very good vintage for white wine for you, isn't it?
I think it's a very good vintage for both color, for the whites and for the reds, because for the whites, I think we have a real good balance between acidity, sugar, and when you taste the wine, they are really pleasant, but at the same time you have a good acidity at the end, and I think it's a very good vintage for the whites, but also for the reds, because the reds are plenty of fruit. They have plenty of fruit, plenty of color. Unfortunately, we had around 30% of less of quantities, but finally the result is very good for the 20 in reds also.
The reduction is mainly from frost, is it?
From 20, yes, a little bit, but also from we say in French, coulure.
Flowering
and
problems, yeah.
A little bit of coulure, and also a dry weather, very dry, and we didn't have enough water in the ground. That's why we don't have more juice, in fact,
right,
in the grapes.
Was the summer very hot for you?
Yes, it's not very good for the Pinot Noir to be so hot, but I remember 18, sorry, who also was very hot, and the vines were really dense, pretty big density, and it didn't look like a Pinot Noir from Burgundy. But 2020 is really very close to 19, I think, and we have a more balanced wine with acidity. Of course, we have the sun, we have the color, we have the density, but the acidity was there. So it gives a real good balance. And finally, the 2020 in reds are really delicate, a good power, but not too much. The tannins are really slow, and for me, it's a very pleasant wine.
Was it an easy harvest?
A harvest is not easy. All harvests are not easy, but for me, it was easier to harvest 2020 because the grapes were really safe. They were really clean, and there were no disease. So the quality was really fine. And for the vinification, it was, I think, very difficult to vinificate at the end of the fermentations because the sugar, there's still some sugar inside, and the sugar makes time to be transformed in alcohol. So lots of sucre résiduel, we say.
Right. But you managed to get everything to ferment in the end?
Yes, yes.
Did you use less extraction?
Yes, because the quality of the grapes were so fine, so we didn't have to concentrate a lot. It was quite easy to make good wines without concentrate everything.
When you say concentrate, you mean what? You mean extracting?
Yes, extracting. Yes.
What sort of alcohol levels do you have for the reds and the whites?
Well, it was around between 12.5 to 13.5 naturally. So it was not too high in alcohol.
And the alcohol of your red wines?
It's the same.
Same.
It's
right.
between the same.
Right.
So it was not too high. So perfect.
Very good. Now, just give us a quick summary, Vincent, of your domain and the vineyards that you own.
So my domain is 12 hectares. We are winemakers since 6 generations today, and my son is joining us since August this year, and so he wants to continue, of course, and he's mostly focused on the vines, and I do the wines in the cellar.
Right.
So
and the appellations that you have?
So we mostly have some Ladois. I would say we have 5 different Ladois, 2 village and 3 premier cru. We have also some Burgundy. We produce Alos Corton and Corton Grand Cru. And for the whites, it's mostly Ladois and a few parts of Corton Charlemagne. And of course, some Burgundy, simple Burgundy like Chardonnay and Aligoté.
Yeah. Lovely. When will you bottle the wines?
I started to bottle for the whites just before Christmas. So for the 2020 in white, they are already bottled. For the reds, I'm going to wait until March, I think, because March is warmer.
Right.
Yes. So for the wine, it's better to get to bottle when it's warm.
Great. Okay. So you mentioned 2020 being in some ways similar with 19 and maybe 18. Does it resemble any particular vintage? Is it one of those two that it resembles most closely?
the big memories is 18, because we never make some wines like that, so dark, and it was really Côte du Rhône. The balance in the 2020 for me is better,
Right.
between acidity and sugar.
Well, that's fantastic.
Yeah, you will have some.
I hope we will. I hope we will. Yeah, lovely. Okay, Vincent. Thank you very much indeed.